What does it take to create a vibrant, thriving life? First, the sad news is that Thoreau was right. Most people are leading quiet lives of desperation, lacking in meaning, fulfillment, and vitality. But we choose more. We choose to create extraordinary lives. And the Art of Vibrant Living show entertains you with inspiration, empowerment, and education to create your life into a masterpiece. It's time. Let's vibe up. Aloha, y'all. Daniel Aaron here. I am your host. This is the Art of Vibrant Living show. I'm so excited. We have a phenomenal show today, a little different than usual, with an amazing guest. I'll tell you about her in a moment. First, why are you here? I got to guess. It's because you are committed to, dedicated to, beyond interested in living your highest potential, your most vibrant, thriving life. So, if that's at least a little bit right, here's a suggestion. I implore you, don't just say, "Ooh, that's interesting." Actually do something with the info that Grace is going to give you today. I promise there will be many gold nuggets for you today. So take at least one of them and say, I'm going to put that into place in my life. I'm going to try it out. So, and if I can be of assistance to you, if you would like to have a conversation to see how I might be able to support you in creating what you would love, anything and everything, send me an email, daniel@danielaaron.com. I would love to meet you, know what your challenges are, know what your dreams are, and create some insights, breakthroughs, and miracles. Now, that said, I am so delighted to introduce you to a phenomenal being. Grace Gravestock is the best-selling author, dynamic speaker, and professional change advisor turned personal transformational mentor. She specializes in guiding midlife professionals to create a meaningful, profitable next chapter that's aligned with their true purpose, using their unique human design energy blueprint, carrying the codes of the right angle cross of the sleeping phoenix. I'm going to ask her about what that means. Also known as the Harbinger, Grace is on a mission to positively impact 5 billion people by 2025 through her Know Yourself revolution. With over 2 decades of blue chip corporate experience as a change catalyst and a lifetime as a personal transformation maverick, she equips you with the tools to thrive, not just survive, through life's transitions. So cool. Awesome. Grace, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Daniel. I'm excited to be here, and it's a lot. It's a mouthful. We're going to have a lot of fun. Don't be scared away by the big words.
Well, you know what? I love potent words. Words matter, right? And a lot of people use 100 times as many words and don't say anything. And part of what I love about, defining you in some way, giving a peek into you, is some of those words are just super cool words. And I'm like, what does that mean? I love those words, but what does it mean? So do you want to start with that? Tell us the one that I said, I'm going to ask her about that. Do you remember what that is?
Yeah. It's called the right angle cross of the sleeping phoenix. And if you have ever seen a sleeping phoenix, you know that, or the rising phoenix, it means change agent. It means the story behind it is it's supposedly a mythical creature that kind of goes through a cycle of constant change, flies and is doing a lot of things, and then crashes and burns, regenerates, and then starts all over again. So it's these constant cycles of rapid change. I represent those codes. And the reason it's so important that I'm here right now is because I'm here to prepare you, if you're listening, for what everyone has told me all my professional life they hate. It's change. There's more coming, and I am here to make it fun and easy.
Yeah, right. Well, was it Heraclitus said change is the only constant. And it's funny because the survival part of us is always like, no, no change. I don't want to change. And everybody knows it's happening no matter what. And it's so fundamental and important. It makes sense. Like one of the ultimate cross-training tools, like get better at change. Everything in life gets better.
That's right. And
Yeah.
people say they hate change, but you know what? You might as well shift your thoughts on this. So I want you to say out loud to me if you're going, or say out loud with me if you're going through a change. Just repeat these words out loud. I choose to make this change fun and easy. Those words matter, and they create a whole new reality for you when you choose to speak them.
Hallelujah. Yeah. And it really is about choice. And well, let's jump back. We dove right in. It sounds like when I first read those words, I thought, this is like some kind of Harry Potter stuff. This is cool. And in some way it is, right? It's like, there's sort of a magical power in getting good at change. But let's rewind for a moment. And would you tell us a little bit about how you got to doing this? What's the story?
Yeah, it's a long story. I'm going to give you the really short version. So for more than 20 years, I have led large-scale technology change projects. So I was a spokesperson for a very big project that touched every citizen in the UK. That was early in my career. And then I moved on to other projects for the state of California, Dell, Deloitte, Warner Brothers, a lot of blue chip companies. And I've been leading the effort to help, usually they're adopting a big new tech system. And so decades of experience doing that. When I went through a big change myself about 8 years ago, I was married at the time. The ex-husband put a knife to my neck, and I was so shocked. I had to leave in a hurry. I moved in with friends. There's more here, but I'll just give you the short version. Right after the divorce was final, I got laid off. And right after I got laid off, I was faced with the health crisis of these debilitating migraine headaches that just wouldn't go away. I was really ready to check out. Honestly, everything I thought I had worked for all these years was not what I thought it was. It was a lie. All the marriage that I thought I had wasn't what I thought it was. Everything was not what it seemed. And I just felt so betrayed by life. And I was ready to check out. And I moved in with friends. They were both coaches. And one of them really helped me to see that I'd benefit from sticking around. So I decided to stay. I got a reading, a human design reading. They pushed me and pushed me and pushed me until I did it. And even after I did it, I wasn't immediately impressed. It was actually in the third listen that I heard a voice, and it said, "You are not broken. You're perfect the way you are. You're perfectly designed to be and do exactly what you came here to be and do." And in the course of absorbing all that, I realized that over time, I'm just giving you the short version, life happens for me, not to me. And that everything that had happened, even though it sounded horrible to most people, was actually for my benefit. And it was to help me be what I explained to you at the beginning, a harbinger of change, meaning a change agent, going through myself massive cycles of change in my own life, transformation. And when I'm going through those cycles of change, touching others and helping them to also transform. And then here's the bigger picture so anyway, to answer your question, when I was going through that, I thought, I've worked with some of the smartest people in the world, and I really had, but none of them talked about energy or frequency. And so as I applied to my own personal life and change all the things that I had been teaching my corporate clients about for years, I realized there was a missing component, and that missing component was energy and frequency. And so that led me on a journey. And so this human design reading that I got was the beginning of helping me understand that we are energy beings, and that everything is frequency, and that is the heart. In fact, I would say it's the secret sauce to making change fun and easy, is understanding frequency and energy. And so since then, I've devoted my life to helping people like you, if you're watching, if you're listening right now, to make the change in front of you more fun, more easy, by understanding who you really are and letting go of who you thought you were or who other people told you you were. Because when you embrace who you really are, that's when you realize that you actually have everything you need inside of you. And it's not just a bunch of mumbo jumbo. I can literally show you, and I maybe will get a chance to show you Reverend Daniel's chart in a moment, and you'll see what I mean.
That's awesome. I love it. Well, what you said reminds me of the great line that's attributed to Lao Tzu, which is something like, when we let go of who we are not, then we can become who we are meant to be, right? Which also reminds me of the great line by a Buddhist monk that said, "Change is good. Paper money is even better." So aside from that silliness, there's so much I would love to ask you about in all of that you just shared, and I'm going to hold my horses back a little bit and key in on energy and frequency. I think I know what you mean by that, but would you say more and just catch us all up to what that means for you?
Sure. So I didn't realize way back then when I was going through all that change that everything in the universe has a frequency. And so there's a guy, David Hawkins, thank you, has a scale of consciousness, and he measured everything and proved that everything has a frequency number to it. And then I started learning from a doctor, Dr. Jerry Tennant, got the Lifetime Achievement Award from his Ivy League colleague. So he's like a legit doctor. Like some people would say he's really legit because he's like Ivy League, and he's also an energy doctor. And so he healed himself after 7 years when nobody else could heal him. And they told him, just get your affairs in order. He healed himself, and he used energy and frequency. So since then he's written 40 books. So this is a legit thing. I'm saying this because before I know about it, I just thought it was a bunch of woo-woo stuff, but actually it's very legitimate, and a lot of people have proven it. And so what the idea is that everything has a measurement in the universe on the frequency scale. And so when we look at that and we look at the lens, we look at who we are, we look at life, we look at, this microphone has a frequency. We all have, everything is frequency. When we look at life through that lens, we can see things differently. And we can see that when we affect our own frequency, that changes our whole experience.
Yeah, 100%. And one of the things I love is, I remember when I was first sort of teaching and talking about vibration, it's been one of my favorite words forever. It was, this is going back 20 years or more. It was really woo-woo. Like I would say that and people are like, yeah, I don't know, some kind of new agey dude over there. And now that's mainstream. Like everybody knows that. And that's, partially to do with the way quantum physics has become so more understood in the world. So yeah, that's beautiful. So then that brings me to the question of, how does the work you do, I guess specifically with the gene keys, connect to energy and frequency?
Yeah, it's a great question. So what the connection point is first of all, knowing who you are. That leads to loving who you are. And when you love who you are, you can practice self-care, which allows you to trust yourself. So it's like know, love, and trust yourself. And that leads to raising your frequency. And then when you understand frequency, what you start to learn is that what we attract in the world, we attract relationships that are basically mirrors for what we need to learn. And so using this tool of human design, I can show you who you are as an energy being. And I can show you what you're broadcasting. If you think about yourself like a Wi-Fi signal, we're all like Wi-Fi signals walking around. We're broadcasting and we're receiving information. What's different about what I can offer you is a way to look at yourself that that shows you what exactly you're broadcasting and what exactly you're picking up from other people. And I can also explain to you why you attract the relationships that you do, because it's all in your soul curriculum map, which is this energy blueprint that we could look at. And so that is, so when you say, what is the relationship between frequency and the work you do? First of all, as I show you that you are frequency, you're made up of frequency, and I show you what you're broadcasting and picking up. And then I show you how you can change, you can raise your frequency by becoming the highest expression of who you are, which, by the way, is your purpose. It's not just one thing. It's not like to be the president or whatever. I mean, that might be part of it, but it's about being the best version of you. Not even best. Best sounds like good and bad. It's not even about that. I believe it's to be the fullest expression of the energy that you're here to bring to the world. And that can be measured through frequency. So if we get a chance to look at a chart, I'll be able to give you a visual on that.
Yeah, cool. Well, I'm excited, right? There's no learning better than experiential learning, and having an actual experience would be great for all of us. Before we do that, let me check in, because what you're describing, I mean, in some ways, it goes back all the way to the Greeks in one of the key tenets of living an amazing life, and it is know thyself, right? And I love what you said. It rang for me. You said, know, love, and trust yourself. And in the business world, so many people talk about the know, like, and trust factor, right? Coming from Dale Carnegie, which is people like to do business with people that they know, like, and trust. And I've never really heard someone sort of invert that in a sense toward know, and I like the upgrade to love, know, love, and trust yourself. And I think of one of my mentors, Steve Hardison. He's renowned for his ability for the phenomena that when people are with him, even if it's for a couple of minutes, they often report, I felt so loved. I felt more loved than I ever have with anyone else, maybe my mother or my partner. And when asked about that, Steve's response was, well, that's because I love myself that much, right? So what the dots that I'm connecting are, what you're teaching and sharing and helping people with is to know, love, and trust themselves, which automatically is going to have other people know, love, and trust themselves too. Does that make sense?
Exactly. Yeah. In fact, what I've learned, and this is kind of a hard lesson. Let me say it this way. There was a time when I was thinking like, I don't have time for that. Like, that sounds like too, like, love myself. What does that mean? How do I know myself and love myself? Like, let's just get on with business, right? Like, I need to make some money or whatever it is. And what I realized is that the extent to which I love myself is the extent to which I will be able to attract people into my life that love and honor and respect me. And if I have no self-respect and no self-love, I will not, for the life of me, be able to attract people into my life that honor me or appreciate me, because I don't appreciate myself. So that's why it's so important right now to know, love, and trust yourself, because with these massive cycles of change, there's a lot of things we could say about this. There's background frequencies that are changing, which match these frequencies that I'm carrying, the right angle cross of Sleeping Phoenix. There's background frequencies that are changing from what they've been for the last 450 years into what we're moving into. And it explains why we're going through what a lot of people understand is a lot of tumult, a lot of chaos in the world. Why is it? Well, it's because the background frequencies are changing, and they're changing on purpose to help us evolve, to help us move into higher frequencies for ourselves and better. I'm going to say higher frequency ways of living, working, and being. And that requires us to up level. And so what I teach is a way to up level yourself, starting with knowing who you really are, which again leads to loving who you are, which leads to trusting who you are, which leads you to really unlocking your superpowers, which includes for all of us certain types of intuition. And some people know that they have that and some people don't. But when you do this work, it's amazing. You realize that you have access to superpowers that you weren't even aware of before. So it's very exciting, very empowering, and also very transformative.
Okay, well, I'm chomping at the bit for us to do a bit of a demo. First, though, well, two things. One, when you spoke about loving oneself, and I had the exact, I had a very similar experience of you as like, oh, I don't have time for that. Or even I had judgments like, well, that's just kind of, that's like wussy stuff. I'm not going to bother with that, right? And at a certain point, many years into my journey, I realized like the power and importance, fundamental importance of self-love, self-forgiveness, and I went on a rampage of reading and took myself on a deep dive into that. And that I'm going to flag that over there for another conversation for us, because that's something really important. So before we dive into the experiential part here, I know, well, I sense that what you're describing would be useful, fundamentally useful for anybody, right? Anybody that wants to up level, to have a better life. And I also know that your focus is working with certain people specifically, right?
Yeah, I really help. I mean, I feel called to help the people like who come from a background like mine, like midlife professionals. I started getting visions about 5 or 6 years ago about hundreds of thousands of people getting laid off. And then with AI coming, kind of starting to impact the world, we're starting to see it now. I think we're going to see it even more over the coming months and years for sure. But I feel that there's a lot of people out there that are either right now or they're going to be facing this question, which is, oh my gosh, what do I do now that my work has gone away? The things that I've been doing all my life, an AI can do it, or a robot or whatever, it can do it. What am I going to be doing? Because 70% of us are here to do things. We're here to like be the worker bees, like create and do. So what are we going to do if the work we've been doing doesn't exist? So what I do is I help you know what your unique genius is based on your divine blueprint or your energy blueprint. It's all the same thing. It's looking at yourself through this lens of energy. What are you here to broadcast into the world? What are you here to be and do uniquely that nobody else can be and do? And that's the question that I can answer for you. And that's what we're going to demonstrate in a minute.
That's beautiful. And as I continue to evolve my understanding of what it takes to create a vibrant, thriving life, to me, one of the biggest obstacles plagues the vast majority of people, which is they are engaged in, if they still have a job, they're engaged in something that doesn't light them up or is drudgery, right? And that's a big reason why so many people live for the weekends and drinking or drugging or whatever it is. So I feel like, what you're speaking about, not only for those people that might be getting laid off, and that's huge, but also for so many people that are in work and careers and jobs that maybe they fell into that they don't love. Okay, cool. So let's shift gears. Let's. I'm happy to be the guinea pig. I'm grateful for it, and it seems like that might give our audience a deeper way of understanding how you work. Does that seem accurate?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay. So how's best to proceed? You guide me. I'm following you.
Okay. So what we do is we need 3 bits of information. We need your date of birth, your time of birth, and your city of birth. Why do we need this information? Because it's basically your address in the universe. It's kind of like if you use your phone, and you plug into your phone your GPS address of, you're going to a new restaurant or something. Your phone automatically calculates how to get to that place based on the coordinates of the latitude and longitude, right? They're built into the phone. Well, similarly, you and I, we all have something similar, like a latitude and longitude in the world. And it is our blueprint. It's our energy blueprint. And it's based on what I call your address in the universe, which comes from your date of birth, your time of birth, and your city of birth. So if you don't know if you don't know this information, there are ways to get it. I can help you with that, or there are other people that can. But you will need your date of birth, time of birth, and city of birth, and then you would put it into my chart generating software, which is at whatsmychart.com, and it's free. And then you'll get a chart, and you'll be able to see your blueprint, your unique blueprint, and you'll be able to understand what you look like. It's a vision. It's a picture of you that you've probably never seen before. And it shows you what you are broadcasting into the world and receiving at any given time. Can I go ahead and share the screen?
Yeah, cool. Let's do it. There we go.
Okay, perfect. So what we're looking at here is we're looking at Daniel's blueprint, and there, it's a little bit better. And so what we're looking at is 9 energy centers here. And so if you think of yourself like a Wi-Fi signal, we all look something like this. And what we're looking at here is whether it's colored in or white. Why do we look for that? Well, if it's colored in, it means that's what we're broadcasting all the time. It's going to be consistent. It's basically the parts of you, the only things about you that are for sure going to stay the same. Sometimes we get married and we think that we want our partner to stay the same. What's funny about that is that for most people, there's way more white in their chart than there is color. So it means there's a lot of parts of the person, of any of us, that are going to change. And then, to be resentful about somebody who changes doesn't make sense when you understand this. So we're looking at what's colored in and what's white. The things that are colored in, again, are what we're broadcasting all the time. And then the things that are white are like receiving dishes. I do this because it reminds me, it's like, if you were thinking about an octopus, with tentacles, it's like picking up energy in the water. And that's a lot like these centers that we're seeing here. And each of them represent a different type of information, much like your Wi-Fi signal, the way it works. It's broadcasting and receiving. So Daniel here has these top two are completely open. They're receiving dishes. It means that you, Daniel, can receive unlimited messages from, I'm going to say, beyond the physical realm, whatever you understand that to be. That's up here, and that's called your inspiration center. And then right below it, this is your way of thinking about the world, and it's like yours is completely open. So you're very open-minded, and because both of those are receiving dishes, you are able, like the technicality of that is you literally have the configuration to be able to receive what is being broadcast. So my chart is opposite of yours, for instance, in these two areas. So I can't help but broadcast what I'm here to be, which is an inspiration in the world, and my fixed way of thinking, which has served me in the corporate work that I do to apply, processes and templates and all that to change. And you have you're completely unfettered by any of those limitations, and you have openness, complete openness. So when I'm broadcasting, when you and I are in proximity like we are now, whether usually in physicality, it's like 6 to 9 feet out, or in a Zoom call, something like a Zoom call, like what we're doing now, we are connected energetically. And so you can literally read my mind. Why? Because I'm broadcasting and you're receiving. Does that make sense?
Yeah, very cool. I get it. I'm with you.
And so you could technically read minds. I mean, that's one of your superpowers. And then each of these other things are other parts of you that you're here to master, the parts that are colored in. Like, for instance, I'll just tell you real quick, you're here to use your voice. What are you here to use your voice to speak about? Well, let's see what it's connected to. It's connected to your intuition. This is your center for splenic knowing and intuition. And then this is your life force energy, your workforce energy. And just like me, you have this channel of power. That's what this is. And so it means that one of the most powerful ways that you express yourself in the world is through your work. This represents workforce energy. It's the most powerful energy, the most powerful motor in the universe. Why? Because if you have this one colored in, it means that you have consistent access to what we call the sacral motor. And it means that you have unlimited energy for the things that you find satisfying. So that right there is a clue for 70% of us, we're going to have this part of the configuration the same. And so if you're sitting there wondering, what should I be doing? What is my purpose? I'll tell you right now that for 70% of us, your purpose is to do the things that you find satisfying. And I think you said it earlier, Daniel, the things that light you up. So that's another way of looking at it. So you're here to have a fixed way of expressing yourself in the world. This is about love and all its various forms. You have a very strong will. You've probably always been a strong-willed person. This is like a motor that allows you to push through difficult situations and also encourage other people to see their own value. It's very empowering. And then these two are open. So it means this one is, you're technically an empath. You're picking up other people's emotions. And this one is a pressure center, and it's called your divine timing center. It means that you're very, very sensitive to divine timing, and you could feel it as pressure, both from others like me, like I have the opposite configuration here, and you could feel pressured by me even when I'm not trying to pressure you, just because I'm broadcasting energy there and you're receiving it. Or it could be divine timing, like you could literally feel the energy to do the thing. Like, let's say it's time to clean your garage out and you've been thinking about it for a couple of weeks. And then one day you wake up and you're like, today's the day. I feel the energy to go clean my garage. And that's the energy coming through it's called your root or your divine timing center, which is telling you that it is time, and it's giving you that message through energy. So all of these are, there's a whole lot more we could go into, but that just gives you a sense for what I mean by frequency and energy. You're always broadcasting, you're always receiving. Those are some of the things that you're always broadcasting and receiving. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm with you. It makes sense. It resonates a lot for me, and, in the different ways that I know myself. And, lest we get too lost in talking about me here, question is, right, so you just gave me a lot of beautiful information about different parts of myself. And so if you are working with somebody in our audience and you share this kind of information with them, how would they use that? Or what would be the takeaway or the way to move with that?
Yeah, great question. So I'll share a couple things that are applicable to most people. So 70% of people are going to have this part of their configuration colored in. So that means that if you have that, you're here to do work that you find satisfying. So this is the way you would use this information, is to help guide your clarity on what you're here to be and do. This is one way you could use the information. There's unlimited ways you could use this, but I'm going to say this is how I use it for most people. If you come to me and you say, I don't know what my purpose is, I don't know what my work, what should I be doing? My work is changing, going away. I'm getting laid off, or I'm quitting my job. I just don't like it anymore. What should I be doing? What is my purpose? I can tell you that each of these parts of your configuration, and this is just a piece of it, small piece of it, but each of these parts tells a purpose for you. So this one, which applies to most people, 70% of people, it means that you're here to do work that you find satisfying. So what does that mean? Like if I were to call you at 2:00 in the morning, Daniel, and say, oh my gosh, you're still up. We've got a show to produce in the morning. What are you doing up? So what is an example of something that for you is that satisfying that you could see yourself staying up in the middle of the night, even when your body feels tired, but it just gives you so much energy and you're so excited about doing it that you keep doing it?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the first thing that comes to mind is for me when I'm teaching or lecturing or transmitting, working with groups. It's like I always want to give the best I can with that. So for me, that always means, or almost always means, some kind of preparation too, which is maybe researching, thinking about, feeling into what I'm going to share, how it's going to come together, synthesizing information. So yeah, I've had many, many late nights because I'm preparing for something that I'm going to present the next day.
There you go. Yes. And so when you say present, see, right, in those words that you use is part of the key to what you're here for, Daniel, which is to speak. You're here to present. You're here to share your intuitive insights. This is your intuition and that color. If we follow that consistent line of color, you're here to share your insights and the things that really light you up, which are these things, these kinds of things, right? So that is part of your purpose. And so if you're watching right now and you're wondering, I don't know what my purpose is, there's a lot of things here. I mean, all of this, what I can tell you by looking at this is the things you're here to master. So you, Daniel, are here to master using your voice to speak, to communicate, to share your insights into the world. And so on the flip side, if the throat chakra is open, then it means that you've probably had a lifetime challenge of not feeling heard. And that's a different thing altogether, you know? So depending on your configuration, it tells you what your purpose is, because you're perfectly designed to be and do what you came here to be and do. And you literally have everything you need within you. So in this case, you know, you just said it, you like presenting. You could see yourself up late at night thinking about what you're going to present. That is part of your purpose. Now, it's not the only part of your purpose. Your purpose is to be yourself. And with this part of your configuration, you and I share, we are both what we call express builders. So we're here to bring shortcuts to other people. And so you and I, in the work that we uniquely do, we do help people get there faster to their goal. And that's why they would work with you, is to get there faster, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Faster, easier, more fun, less hitting the head against the wall.
Yeah, exactly. Let me share one other thing. This is a summary. It's a synthesis. You know, I mean, we could go for hours literally on all the pieces of what this chart says about you, but I want to just demonstrate, because if you've been following Daniel for a time, you know, you've watched his other shows, you probably have a sense for who he is. And I want you to see how this resonates. So what I'm going to share now are what we call your grand purpose codes. If you go on the website, you'll be able to see more about them. There are 4 codes. We all have them. We started the show talking about my codes, Cross of the Sleeping Phoenix. So those are 4 codes that are all about rapid cycles of change, faith, trust in God or the universe, and in deep connection. So in your case, Daniel, your codes are 51, 57, 54, and 53. It's interesting they're all in the 50s. You're here to explore, learn, and teach about new ideas that have the power to initiate others into new possibilities and potentials, to use your intuitive understanding and insights to initiate others into exploring new ideas, to use your intuitive, penetrating awareness to bring people back into alignment with what is true and what is truth, and to use your intuitive awareness to help people begin the process of constructing the manifestation of their dreams. I think you talked about that earlier, living their life of their dreams, and to initiate others by reconnecting them to their higher purpose and their innate connection with source. And lastly, and if you've been following Daniel for a while, you know this is absolutely true, to be a spiritual teacher whose insights help people quickly dismantle illusions that keep them from fulfilling their true potential. Wow. Does that resonate with you?
Holy moly. Yeah. It's uncanny. Even, you know, like my business name, The Art of Vibrant Living, my group coaching program is called Your Masterpiece Life Training. Right. So yeah, it's amazing, phenomenal. I get it. And you know, and I know, you know, even that little piece you said about, right, 70% of people are meant to be doing what, you know, what they really love, what lights them up, in my words. And the thing I said a little while ago is, I think it's even higher percentage of people that are absolutely not doing that. And so, you know, they're doing stuff that they either are indifferent toward or more often actually dislike. And so, like, I feel this tingly excitement of what would happen to the world if everybody got the information of who they really are, what they love doing, and oriented themselves toward that. That's, you know, that's a massive difference in terms of the whole planet.
Absolutely. And that's my vision, to positively impact 5 billion people by 2025. I mean, we're almost in it to 2025. So I know we're close, but through frequency, alignment, and collaboration, I believe those are the keys to the future. So, people, you and I working together in this way, sharing this kind of message, we're amplifying each other's efforts and energy in the world. There's no competition. There's plenty for everyone. We all have a unique job to do. And when we are living the fullest expression of what we're here to be and do, which we've just demonstrated with your chart, and you could see how you are on your path, like you're doing the work that you're here to be and do. And we know that because you feel satisfied doing it, right? The opposite of satisfaction is frustration. So if you're watching this right now and you feel nothing but frustration with your life, that's perfect. Why do I say that's perfect? Because it's telling you, it's like a giant arrow pointing to this thing that's frustrating. It's like right there, that's where that point of pain is. That's what's out of alignment for you. And so that's how for 70% of us, if you're either a builder or an express builder in the system, and you'll know by getting your chart, and it's for free, you'll pick it up and you'll see, but 70% of us are here to find satisfaction in the work we're doing. And if we're in frustration, like you mentioned, all those stats, 80% of people are dissatisfied with their job. They're unhappy at work. They're not productive. Why? Because they're not doing work that lights them up. So if you want to do work that lights you up, then find out who you are and find out what you're configured to be and do that. And that's when it all comes together, and you'll find that you actually are fully supported in being and doing exactly what you came here to be and do. And that's not woo-woo stuff to say. Like literally, you can see in the chart that we just showed, Daniel has all those things. He has the configuration that supports him speaking and using his voice in the world. He has the configuration that supports him being an empowering force for others. We didn't talk too much about it, but one of the parts of his configuration is that. There's so much there. But when you know who you really are, you can love who you are. And when you love who you are, you can start to take care of yourself, and you can learn to trust yourself. And that's when some of your superpowers switch on that you may not even be aware that you have.
Wow. Okay, cool. Amazing. So, well, one, thank you for, sharing that information with me. It's super helpful and affirming and insightful and exciting. And as time is flying along for us here, is there anything so far, Grace, that I haven't asked you about that you would like to bring forward?
My key message is knowing, loving, and trusting yourself and leading by example. I believe that those of us who are here came here for a reason at this time to play an important role in humanity's evolution, in the process of what's going on in the world today. And so you're here for such a time as this. You're here for a purpose. When you're living your life on purpose, it's not going to be a slog. It's going to be fun. And what does fun and easy really mean? My dad used to say, if you like the work, if you love the work that you're doing, you don't have to work a day in your life. And that is true. And so when I say fun and easy, sometimes people say, well, how could it possibly be fun and easy? But if you think of it like that, if you think of it that you're doing work that you actually are cut out to do, you're doing what lights you up. You're doing what's fun for you. That means you're living in alignment. And you know that if you're a builder or an express builder, 70% of the population, because you're feeling satisfied about it. And if you're feeling frustrated, that's a sign that you're just off track. It's kind of like when you're driving down the road and you hit the bumps on the side, blah, 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 blah. It's not that you can't drive there, but why would you want to when you could drive in the smooth part, right? And that's what frustration is. So next time you hit those bumps on the side, I want you to remember this conversation and realize that any area of your life where you have frustration is simply you hitting those bumps on the side. And it's saying, hey, get back on the path, because life is meant to be fun and easy. It doesn't have to be hard.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I love it. Okay, cool. Thank you. And let's check in, because I believe you have a gift for our audience. Is that true?
I do. Yeah, you can get your 4-page report. It's called, it's your divine blueprint. It's called I've called it your life purpose summary. What it is it's the four most important things that you need to know about you living on purpose. And so just like I talked about Daniel being an express builder and his superpower being shortcuts, that's part of it. If you're a builder, you're here to create the world that you want to live in. It's not about sitting back and waiting for someone else to save you. It's about being the fullest expression of yourself and using your gifts, which is going to be fun and easy. And it's going to create intentionally the world that you want to live in, that I want to live in. We get to play a part. Like, we don't have to sit back and wait for somebody to rescue us. We get to be the people that we've been waiting for. And this is how we do it. We understand who we are so that we can know who we are. We love who we are. We trust who we are. And that empowers us to see that life happens for us, not to us.
So powerful. Okay, cool. Well, I don't know who wouldn't want to get a report like that, especially after what you just showed us. How does that happen?
You need to go to whatsmychart.com, especially if you have an iPhone. You got to type in, https://whatsmychart.com. Depending on your browser, you might be able to just type in whatsmychart.com. That it will redirect you to my site, which is the Know Yourself Revolution. You need your date of birth, time of birth, and city of birth. You put it in, and then you will see a screen. It will show you something similar to the one we demonstrated, and you'll see a button that says download here. I think it's a green button. You click the button, it will download to either your phone or your computer. It's a 4-page report. It will give you context and help you understand your purpose and the 4 most important things, including, and this is so valuable, including your best way to make decisions, how to make the best decisions for you. I mean, this can save you a ton of money, a ton of time, and a ton of pain by making decisions that are in alignment with your purpose and with your configuration. For instance, you and I are the same, Daniel. We're meant to trust our gut. So we get to ask yes or no questions, trust our gut, and move forward, knowing that when we have satisfaction, that's when it's correct for us. And when we feel frustration, we get to go back and ask a different question.
Okay, cool. And for anyone who's listening and you're not seeing on the screen, just in case it's not obvious, whatsmychart.com, no apostrophe after the T and before the S, right? It's just all one word, whatsmychart.com. Awesome. Well, I'd love to finish the show, Grace, but I need to go get that chart. No, I'm just kidding. So what else, and so for people who say, cool, getting my chart and getting the reports good, if they want to go further with you, how can they do that?
Yeah, if they want to go further, there's information at the very bottom of, just scroll down on the website, and there's an opportunity to do a group coaching program. There's opportunity to do one-on-one coaching with me. And there's also a report that you can get, Your Unique Genius. And you'll see it there on the website. It's about 20 pages, depending on your configuration. It's exactly what you are uniquely configured to be and do as it relates to work. And so this is at the level at which you can say, like, you'll look at it and you'll say, oh yeah, wow, I remember when I had that in my work. I had that in my work. Oh wow, I've never had that in my work. And as you consider that and you reflect, what you'll see is that the best work you've ever done was work that was aligned for you, and it really leverages your unique genius, which is what's highlighted in those 20 pages. First of all, there's a section on your leadership, the way you show up to others. And then there's a whole section on ideal job characteristics. And the purpose for this is to help you get clarity on what is it that's going to light you up. And I have a process for that. I have a daily gratitude practice that you could join for free. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities. I don't want to overwhelm you, but the resources are here. Like, if this resonates with you, get your report. You'll get opportunities to learn more about some of the options, and feel free to reach out. I'm on all the social media platforms, and I would love to talk to you and answer any questions you have.
Okay, beautiful. Yeah, it makes sense to, for people just to, take a step and see how it feels, what you learn, and if it resonates, absolutely go further. And you already got into my next question in terms of what's the best way for people to contact you. Is it through social media?
Yeah, probably through social media. I mean, there's a lot of ways, but yeah, if you're watching this, you know, I have a YouTube channel. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. Grace Gravestock. You know, I think there's only one Grace Gravestock. So yeah, look me up, or go to my website, and then when you get the email, you can just reply to the email. I mean, that's the easy way too.
Okay. Awesome. Well, I think that brings us to the final question. And it's a big question. It's impossibly big. It's so big that you can't mess it up. And I say that because you've got a ton of experience and wisdom, Grace. And what I am asking you to do right now is distill it, bring it down into one thing. So if you had one thing that you could share with our audience that would help them to live their most vibrant, thriving life, what would be that one thing?
My one thing is this: remember who you really are. You are perfectly designed to be and do exactly what you are here to be and do. You have everything you need within you. And when you choose to step into that, nothing is impossible for you. So remember that life happens for you, not to you. And all the things that I went through, you know, there was a time when I felt like a victim. I felt like, why did I have to get, you know, this husband that lied to me and secret life and knife to my neck and all these crazy things? Why did I get laid off twice? You know, all these things. Why did I have to go through that? But I learned when I understood my chart and my purpose and my life path that all of these things had to happen so that I could understand with full empathy what every possible way it is to be unempowered, to be disempowered, so that I could learn how to be empowered and empowering, so I can help to empower you and others to see that everything happens for a reason. So I'm here to help you step into your power and step into your greatness by knowing, loving, and trusting yourself.
Wow, that's so beautiful. I love it. Thank you. And thank you also, not just for taking this time to be with us in the audience, but also for, you know, the courage that you've shown through so many of those phases that you just mentioned in your life to persevere, to overcome your, you know, deep dedication to learning and growing so that you can be empowered and empowering. It's phenomenal. So thank you so much for being with us, Grace.
My pleasure. Right. Thank you so much for having me, Daniel. I appreciate the work you're doing, and thank you.
Yeah, awesome. You are entirely welcome. And for y'all in the audience, thank you. I love that you're here. I love your dedication and commitment to being your highest potential, to serving the world by thriving. It's amazing. So thank you for being here. I hope you come back soon. We got more fun stuff coming up soon. And in the meantime, please, please, please make your life a masterpiece. Aloha. Mahalo for tuning in to the Art of Vibrant Living show, y'all. I'm Daniel Aaron, and may you live with great vibrancy.